welcome to the 55th episode of the Mayor's Mixtape. I am Haley Sue Robinson, Director of Public Affairs for the City of Pueblo.
Heather Graham, City of Pueblo Mayor.
Brian McCain, Chief of Staff.
Okay, and I'd like to remind you, you can find our podcast on YouTube, Buzzsprout, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And you can email us your questions or topic suggestions, mayor@pueblo.us. And we'll just jump right into it, Mayor. City Council recap. Last week we didn't have a City Council meeting or a work session because the City Councilors went to the Emergency Operations Center. So we were back this week and we had a work session. There was kind of a variety of topics that were covered. First, we heard from our lobbyist, and one thing we heard about was, there's kind of like a holding pattern right now up at the state.
That's what you call it.
That's what I would call it.
Oh, I call it they're about to drop bombs.
Okay.
It is the calm before the storm.
Yeah, that is what it feels like. Yeah, exactly.
Rapid fire. Bad bills.
We did hear some good news, though. We're waiting to hear about quite a few, but one in particular was related to urban renewal authorities, and that one was killed in committee, and that was a bill that we opposed as the city, and City Council wrote in opposition of that. Brian, do you have a couple updates for us?
Yeah, the other one was the Prop 123
Yes.
bill. I think it was House Bill 1313. That passed the House and will go to the Senate, which most likely will pass the Senate. The cool thing about that is Pueblo and a few other communities, the way the formula is set up for the Prop 123 funding, which was approved by voters to assist with housing, basically, in our municipality. The formula was kind of weird, and it didn't work for us. And Melissa Cook, one of our city staff, she's a director of Housing and Citizen Services. She worked with the legislators up north on it to fix this bill, basically, so we can still continue to receive this funding.
And I think the other thing that was kind of neat about that is Melissa shared she previously worked for the Department of Local Affairs and was kind of on the other side working on Prop 123. And so she just shared that it was neat to work from the local level and work with folks up north and to make it work specifically for Pueblo.
Yeah, and in the stakeholdering process, you had every municipality, staff members, both counties, cities across the state. She was leaned on as being kind of the expert on this, and it showed how the process should work. There's an issue, and a legislator, although not a Pueblo legislator, worked with the city to fix this problem.
Yeah. Which is good. Sometimes we don't always get that outcome. Sometimes they listen to us and then it still doesn't go our way. So, yeah, that was a good one. Okay, so we also heard about a microtransit presentation. This one was particularly interesting because there wasn't an ask. It was just a presentation from County Commissioner Miles Lucero, Becky with Boys and Girls Club, and we had a youth participant as well. And I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that, Mayor, and maybe get an idea of what you thought of the presentation.
Yeah, super exciting pilot program. I know that this has been in the works for quite some time, and a previous city council member, Councilor Martinez, has been working on it with her other job, the health department, making sure that youth have safe transportation and what that could potentially look like. And, they got a pretty sizable grant to be able to do this pilot program. So super exciting. We heard from, different city councilors why this was important to them, why it's important to the community. So super excited to see this come full circle.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know I talked to our director of transit, Ben Valdez, and he's supportive of it also. A portion of that is because there is a need that public transit service stops at 6 p.m. And so then there's that gap in transportation, not just for youth, but for the community, but specifically helping youth get home safely from activities, movies, bowling, going to a friend's house, whatever they're doing.
Sports games.
Hanging out downtown, different events that are happening. And a big portion of that is safety and making sure that they get home in a good, safe manner. I think, we were teenagers once, and sometimes finding transportation, our friends could drive us, or our friends couldn't drive us because they weren't quite old enough. Our, parents were like, oh, I don't want to drive all the way over there. Like,
I don't want to take you to Tinseltown.
Yeah, I got that one.
Pick you up at 10:30 for your movie.
Yeah, I got that one a lot.
Yeah.
Can you go to an earlier movie?
Yeah.
And it's like, Mom, it's not cool to go to the 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's cool to go to the 9 o'clock movie.
Yeah. Yep.
Now I'm like, can we go to a movie before 5:30? Yeah, exactly. But when I'm 14 years old, it's a lot cooler to go at 9 o'clock at night. So, this is an interesting program. I think the other thing that's great is when we have presentations. Yeah, we have presentations that come and they don't ask us for money. Mm-hmm. We like those kinds of presentations, right? Mm-hmm. Their biggest ask was, hey, can you help us spread the news, be supportive of it? And like you said, there were quite a few city councilors who were enthusiastic about it and supportive, and I think there's a lot of opportunity for it. It'll be great.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so another presentation that we heard was from Fire Chief Barb Huber about the EMO position and the switch to engineer. And when I say switch, it's not that EMOs would become engineers. It would be that we have less EMOs and more engineers. And so I thought maybe you could talk to us a little bit about this, because it sounds like, last time there was some confusion about what does this mean? Are we demoting people? Mm-hmm. So maybe you can help us understand.
The biggest miscommunication is, that we are asking 3 people to demote to a different position. That's not what we're asking. We're asking 3 EMO positions to be changed to 3 engineer positions. But those EMOs who are still EMOs will just be able to go to different fire stations within the city. And Barb, our fire chief, brought some really interesting facts as it relates to Fire Station 10, which is out at the airport, which is probably the station that's going to have the reduction in EMOs, and those EMOs will have to bid into inside city limit stations if passed. And the reason for that is we opened the new fire station on East 4th, far East 4th, right? Which can
Fire Station 6
get out to the airport.
Oh, it's way closer. Yeah.
Under the time that we're required to be there to provide services and life-saving measures. And so we feel that the EMOs, emergency medical officers that are at the airport, there's a greater need for them inside city limits. And I think Barb gave some good numbers when she talked about actual ALS calls.
Call volumes.
Volumes. BLS and ALS. So ALS need EMOs, advanced life support. And I thought that
look at you knowing all the
stats, were, very shocking. When she told us that at most stations, the lowest station of the other 10 stations, calls for ALS is at 2,000.
2,000.
The station at the airport was 127, but only 4 were actually ALS calls.
Yeah, 4 compared to 2,000.
Yeah, so you can see that the need for EMOs is much greater in the city, within city limits, than it is out at the airport.
I think that makes a lot of sense, though, when we think about, most people realize that our firefighters are going to calls like traffic accidents, medical emergencies, driving. A lot of times we see things downtown with folks maybe like during the summer with heat exhaustion. Like those are all ALS calls. And it would make sense. The population is obviously much more dense here within city limits. But yeah, I thought that was pretty staggering. 2,000 to the 4.
Yeah. So the need is in the city. We hope City Council will approve the reclassification of 3 of those positions. And the other part is there'll still be ALS out at the airport.
Of course.
You just won't have 6.
Sure. It's a reduced number, but there's still staffing
Yep.
in the way that we need it. Okay, great. Awesome. Well, that's all I had as far as the city council work session, but I did want to share, last week, Mayor, you went on a trip to Grand Junction for the Downtown Colorado Inc. They had their In the Game awards presentation, and the city of Pueblo was an award winner for the channel extension and Boathouse project with the Riverwalk. And it was a pretty exciting event, so I thought maybe you could share with us what that was like last week.
A lot of cool projects
that
were up, and downtown, right? They have to be a part of a downtown, and really something that activates the downtown. And we can see the Boathouse is going, the Riverwalk does that, right?
Right.
The Boathouse is going to be an added amenity. So we were up against some really cool big projects, and we were successful.
Well,
we won the big award.
We won the Big City Award. Another award that was really interesting for a smaller municipality was the hotel in Montrose. And, hearing about the economic activation or the downtown activation, tourism activation, and how those projects relate to municipalities as like a driver for downtown was pretty cool. It was neat to hear how other municipalities are trying to revitalize or reuse older buildings or build new structures like what we did. But I know, 4 phases of the Riverwalk, it's pretty impressive in 26 years of the Riverwalk that we've expanded so much and we have seen so much growth downtown.
Yeah, it's exciting. We have our elevator inspection today.
Okay.
So maybe we'll be opening soon.
Yeah, I know that was one thing that President Aliff shared on Monday. He's very excited for the day that he gets to say, this is the date for the opening. Yep. Of course, the channel is open. You can walk around the entire Riverwalk. But we are very excited to get in the building and celebrate the actual boathouse. And I think some other things that are really neat about that project is that there's going to be catering services available, additional event space. And then I also just think about, we've been so excited about this boathouse, but then we added the Da Vinci Museum right there and how those 2 just adjacent to each other. It's pretty exciting for downtown Pueblo and what we have to look forward to for the summer.
It's a busy summer.
Yes.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. I was talking with, actually it was my grandparents the other day, and they couldn't believe that you can see the big Riverwalk sign from I-25 when you're driving. And I think that's another thing about the boathouse that is such an activation to get people off of I-25. Not people like you and I or the chief of staff. We're going to get off I-25 and come downtown so we can come to work. But people who are driving through Pueblo, it's like a big billboard. And so, and it's always there.
Billboard.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. Anything else you want to share about your time in Grand Junction and what that was like?
No, we got to meet with their economic development director, GJEP.
GJEP.
So that was cool to see, what they're doing. So we visited them a year ago. And a lot has changed in the city of Pueblo, and that's that's kind of where it all started is because of my first trip to Grand Junction. a year ago and kind of seeing what the community should be doing. So to Grand Junction's great. It's very similar to Pueblo, outdoor rec, downtown. So cool place to go visit.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of outdoor recreation. Their mountains are right there.
Yeah.
You're looking right at them. But I would say as far as our like river trail and connectivity here in Pueblo,
we're better.
We might have them beat.
Yeah, got it.
Just saying. So it's cool.
Yeah.
I just think we might be like a little cooler.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay.
I'm
a little biased, but hopefully they don't hate me for that. Okay. Well, we have some upcoming events. Tonight we have the wastewater community meeting at 5:30 at the YMCA, which is located at 3200 East Spalding Avenue. And we'll be talking about the sewer system rehabilitation program on the west side of Pueblo. That's open to the public. We hope that you'll join us. Also this Friday, we have the District 1 Town Hall meeting with District 1 Councilor Diane Dante and at-large City Councilor Selena Ruiz Gomez. That will be at Barkman Library in the Minnequaw Works Credit Union community room at noon. So we also hope folks will join us for that. Anything else coming up that we need to know about?
Trash cleanup.
Yeah.
May 2nd.
May 2nd.
Mark your calendars.
May 2nd. Yeah.
Clean your yards.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Packing up.
Yeah, I was cleaning my alley and spring cleaning in the backyard. So yeah, I got some. I'm gonna have some trash ready. Yeah. It'll be good. Okay. Well, anything else you want to add, Mayor?
I think that's it.
Cool. Short and sweet today. Want to remind the listener, you can find us on Apple, YouTube, Buzzsprout, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And you can also watch us on local channel 17. And don't forget, you can email us, mayor@pueblo.us. And we will see you next week.